Coach, in 2003, the LSU team lost the game. How were they able to regroup after that and go on to win the national?
2003. What is it? Is it 2010 now? Yeah. You think I can remember this stuff 7 years ago? I mean, so Kristen was in what, 6th grade? I don't remember her birthday party either. Yeah. But we've lost a lot of games. I mean, most people do. It's unusual to win every game that you play. And I think that there are reasons for it. And you learn from those things. And I think how our players learn, the lessons that they learn from what they have and have not done. We build on the things that they have done. We correct the things that they have not done. And it's not just about this game. Okay? It's not just about this game. This is a cumulative effect of what's happened all season in terms of choices that people make, in terms of what they do and how they do it, and how they improve what they do, and how they develop confidence in what they do. And we've got some young guys out there on defense that have been playing for 6 games now, and we quite frankly expect them to start maturing and play with confidence and not make mental errors and be able to make adjustments that we've practiced. And that's our expectation. Maybe early in the season we knew that it would take time to develop, but we've had some time to develop, and people need to be accountable to the standard they need to play to. And that's the same thing for every position on our team. So, it all goes back to the psyche of your team. Is it what it needs to be? What happened last year doesn't mean nothing to what happens this year. Have we had the same psychological disposition on this team toward being successful as last year's team? That's the question I'm going to ask.
Coach, if you could address the play of the offensive line against South Carolina, and looking forward, touch on the players with an opportunity at right tackle while DJ recovers.
Well, McCullough will probably be the guy that went in. He was the guy that went in the game, and will be the guy that has been sort of our swing third tackle, and will move up as a starter. The offensive line did a good job in the game. We had sacks because we held on to the ball. And probably 5 of those sacks, we had ample time to throw the ball, and we tried to create plays. And I'm not being critical of Greg. He tried to create plays, by moving around, scrambling in the pocket, and eventually got sacked. 2 times we did not do things the way we needed to do them, and he got quick pressure and got sacked early. So, everybody could have done things better. We could have played better in the offensive line. We could have played better at every position on our team. And that's going to be the focus of what we try to do, is improve on the things that we weren't able to do effectively in the game.
Coach, you talk a lot about playing Alabama football and playing up to a standard and doing what you do no matter what the opponent does. Is there something that you'll be able to glean from practice this week to know that these guys are playing up to that standard, or is that something that you'll figure out in the game next week?
No, I think that it goes, who you are is who you are every day. How do you practice? How do you decide to do things? What choices do you make about how you do them? How important it is for you to do them the right way? And that all carries over into how you're going to play in the game on Saturday. So all these things are important. And and everybody needs to focus and be accountable and responsible to do the things they need to do to improve. I've been saying this every week all year. This is not new. This is not new. It's not a new message. It just happens to be after we lost, everybody's willing to listen, because you all are just like everybody else, just like the fans. He's just saying that because he's a coach. They're doing everything they're supposed to do. They won. That doesn't mean that you're doing what you're supposed to do. That doesn't mean you're playing the best you can play. That doesn't mean, what did I say last week? At this time of year, if you're not doing things right, you're going to get exposed. Well, we had some guys got exposed. Whether it's the left tackle, whether it's the right corner. So, what are you going to do about it? That's the question.
Coach, I know you talked that players were upset after the game, and this is about choices the players make. Mark Ingram made an interesting comment that he guessed that some of these players thought because they were Alabama they could roll in and they could just win the game. Was that Mark being frustrated, or do you have you had any sense of that at all?
Well, you know, I can't speak for the players. I don't know what they think. But if players did think that way, and I'm sure other players would know more than I would about how players think and what they do, that's exactly everything that I'm talking about. Exactly what I'm talking about. That the focus is not on what you need to do to be successful. It's drinking the Kool-Aid, thinking that just because they say it on ESPN, it's so. Reading the newspapers all week, just because you beat Florida 31-6, people start talking about you being the best team in the country. We're not the best team in the country. We're not the best team in the country. We had the best team in the country last year, and we proved it. Proved it over 14 games. All right, and this team hadn't proved shit. Excuse my language. That's how I feel about it. So I'm really upset that I used bad language. I'm sorry. I'm sure I'll get some letters on that, emails, and should.
Well, I'm going to keep it clean.
Good, I appreciate it.
I know there's matchups and circumstances in game that kind of keep Trent and Mark from getting all the carries you want, but is that a priority, a concern to make sure that those guys are involved start to finish, just to the better weapons?
Well, you know, when a game goes like the game went and you get behind 21-3, what is the priority? Is it to get them guys their carries? Or is it to try to get back in the game? I'm asking a question now. When you get behind 21-3, are you trying to get back in the game, or are you trying to make sure Mark and Trent get their carries? Well, what's the priority?
Well,
to me, it's to get back in the game. And sometimes the game determines that. You know, and sometimes, you know, like last year when we had all the yards against South Carolina rushing, it was because we were ahead in the game and we were taking the air out of it, and they couldn't stop us running the ball. So somebody gained 200 and some yards. Different circumstances in the game. All right, so, you know, we have a game plan to utilize all of our players. We have lots of good players. I think we have 3 really good receivers. I think we have 2 really good runners. And I think we have to utilize all those things and take what the defense gives us. And if they're going to have them up there and we need to throw the ball, we have to do that. All right, so it's not about, okay, this guy's going to carry the ball this many times and this guy's going to carry the ball that many times, no matter what. That's hard to do. And we want those guys to make a lot of plays, whether they're catching the ball, whether they're running the ball. And they have to do their share so that other players have a chance to be successful when it comes to blocking and being a complete player at their position.
Coach, it's easy to follow that rule. You win 24 hours and then you forget it. Is it much more difficult to follow that rule coming off of a loss?
Well, I would hope that it isn't. But we have to move on. It's over and done with. There's nothing we can do to get it back. Whatever the players didn't bring is gone forever. So we have to learn from it. It's a great lesson to learn from. And I think that that's, you know, what we're focused on moving forward. You know, our attention needs to be on Ole Miss and what we can learn from the experiences that we had so that we can improve and get better. No more, no less. If you're a good competitor, it doesn't just go away.
Last one.
I'll ask you about DeMarcus Milner's play and what he has to do to get better.
Well, I think that, you know, all the young players that we have on defense need to play with more toughness, more aggressiveness, more competitive spirit, more confidence. You know, and it's about maturing, you know, as a player, and being able to overcome adversity in the game. If something bad happens, being able to make adjustments and not be affected by the circumstances around you. And I think it would be unfair to say that one player has to do that. I think we have a number of players on defense that need to do that. And I think that when you get everybody doing that, it develops sort of a chemistry and a continuity that everybody believes in everybody else and trust, and that helps everybody play better because everybody trusts that everybody's going to do their job. And I think we need more responsibility and accountability to that, you know, on the defense, because of a lot of the young players that we have need to show maturity. All right, thank you.